Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Thursday, November 21st, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. Svartsengi volcano on the Reykjanes Peninsula continues its eruption for the second day. This is the seventh eruption from this volcano this year alone. We'll have all the maps and all the details coming up in just a moment. It's also the first snow for many in the U.S. It's looking like many of us may have a white Christmas. Keep calm. It's boom time. Before we get started, we want to thank our 90,000 subscribers. We just blasted through that number earlier this morning. Something happened a few weeks ago, and we are now getting 10 times more subscribers daily than we have been for the last 4 years. You figure that one out. A Bbomb Cyclone brings massive rainfall and heavy winds to the Pacific Northwest. There was damage, there was flooding, there were trees down. Even a bus got collapsed from this post-tropical cyclone you see here. The low-pressure storm system known as a Bbomb Cyclone moved onto the coast, and it's not over. There are more atmospheric rivers headed to the Pacific Northwest. Winter storm disrupts travel across Chi-Town and blankets Indianapolis in fresh snow. Ho, ho, ho. Thursday's winter storm happens a week before Thanksgiving and could impact holiday travel, according to Fox Forecast Center. More than 700 flights were delayed or canceled on Thursday at Chicago airports. The totals weren't that much, but still a winter storm warning nonetheless. It looks like 4 inches for many regions and not much more than that. Now, the bad news is several days of snow could impact Colorado travel before Thanksgiving. And we're not just talking about a few snow flurries. No, not at all, indeed. Here is the potential for widespread 1 to 2 feet of mountain snow from the northern Colorado boundary all the way down to New Mexico. Most of the high elevations regions picking up 24 inches of snow or more over the next few days. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore is not getting any bundt cake tonight. Now the first snow of the season for parts of the Midwest, Northeast, as a November reality check arrives. Holy macaroni. And here's the full forecast. Powerful Pacific storm to continue impacting Northern California with heavy snow in the Appalachians and portions of the Northeast. Could be several more feet falling in those regions. A strong atmospheric river will continue to impact Northern California with heavy rain and life-threatening flooding through Friday. Unsettled weather is expected across much of the Northeast and Great Lakes over the next few days, including the likelihood of heavy snow in the central Appalachians and higher elevations of northeastern Pennsylvania and southern New York. Winter storm warnings and watches out here all over the place. So heed the warnings and click on your county for more information. And keeping up with trends, we'll take a quick look at the snowfall analysis for the last 24 hours, ending 6 a.m. this morning. You can see Northern California in certain pockets picked up 3 feet of snow or more, and we've got at least 2 feet or more in some areas of the Olympics and the Cascades, as well as Idaho. Say it ain't so, but it is. It's looking like an epic snow season as the snow continues to fall in the west. Here was the snow that fell overnight and into the morning. More snow on the ground. This is obviously the numbers as of 6 a.m. You can see the snow there in Chi-Town, as well as Indy and Columbus. A couple flurries there and some heavier pockets up in North Dakota. The snow will continue through the holiday week. Can you believe that? And let's take a look at the snowfall totals as we make our way towards Gobble Day. Gobbledy-gobbledy-goo. Here is snow throughout Friday, entering the weekend. Saturday morning, you can see some pockets of heavy snow at the higher elevations. That's about it. The rest of the precipitation will be rain. It's insane. But look at the snow falling in the Catskills through Saturday morning. Yeah, 16, 18, maybe 20 inches, as well as snow down in the West Virginia Appalachian crest there. Holy macaroni, Poconos picking up 16 as well. Maybe Elk Mountain looking like a good place to hit this weekend. The snow will continue to fall Saturday and Sunday in the west, but the snow has ended for the Northeast for now. Take a look. More totals for the Sierras, the Cascades, and all of the Rocky Mountains. Now, as we enter next week, this storm's going to drop all the way down to the Four Corners region here Monday and into Tuesday, and that is our lose day. Tuesday into Wednesday, heavy snow for the southern mountains will continue through the rest of the week as more snow will transverse over to the Northeast, and it's looking like an epic skiing season indeed as we approach winter. Yeah, in just how many days? Just about 10 days. Now we're talking meteorological winter, not the winter solstice, which is December 20th. A quick look over at Iceland here, and you can see this is the activity that set off the most recent eruption phase, the 7th eruption this year alone at Svartsengi volcano. And it's right in this region here, just north of Grindavik. But if we look at the Reykjanes Ridge, which goes all the way out into the ocean, you're going to see a much different pattern. A huge uptick in activity prior to the eruption on the peninsula. We could have an underwater volcano erupting offshore of the Reykjanes Peninsula now. Seismic update. No quakes of note, normal activity worldwide. This quake up in Nebraska is interesting, 2.8. The entire Blue Lagoon car park is now covered in lava, and the pictures are spectacular. The entire parking lot of the Blue Lagoon is now under lava after escaping destruction for the last 6 eruptions. So, bad news there for the Blue Lagoon. They're going to have some rebuilding to do. We'll also link you below to some photos of the 7th volcanic eruption on Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula in just 12 months. They're spectacular. Use them as a screensaver or whatever you want to do. They're absolutely fantastic. Now, here is a map of what's been going on the Reykjanes Peninsula since 2021. Back in 2021, we had 3 spectacular eruptions in the Sundanukur craters. They were well-spaced and lasted over 2 years. But this year, it's a new thing. 7 eruptions at Svartsengi, which is just north of Grindavik, and most of the lava is being spewed out right here where I'm circling. All of this is far away from the main Reykjanes area here. This is the capital region, but a great view for the capital region indeed, and a great view for tourism in Iceland. So let's go over the worldwide volcano news for the day. We've got Ibu to 8,000 feet, Liwatobi to 10,000, Reventador on the list, Fuego as well. And here is the new effusive eruption on the Reykjanes Peninsula commencing last night, and that was about a 2-kilometer-long fissure row. It's now down to just 2 or 3 craters, which is typical, probably one here, and one here. And the effusive lava is greatly reduced. Earlier today, there were live stream links put up. It's easy to go see a live stream of the volcano. We don't have one up tonight because it really kills our bandwidth, and it starts to make the video a little choppy. Semaru on the list. Who knew? Now you do. 14,000-foot blast. Nevado de Ruiz continues to puff. Manam as well. Volcanic ash advisory to 8,000 feet. Now here is the most recent map of the lava flow, which spread out in a period of less than 24 hours. Hours of powers, and you can see how massive that flow is in such a short period of time. Red line depicts the fissure area as of yesterday or today. However you want to look at it. Ibu to 8,000 feet. We've got Liwatobi to 10,000. Take a look. This is a great shot of the Svartsengi volcano's lava covering the Blue Lagoon's parking lot. Let's maybe take a closer look at that. Probably blow this up. Oh, what the heck did I just do? I've ruined everything. Yeah, look at that shot. See a crane here. They are reinforcing. See what they're doing right here? They're reinforcing that so the lava doesn't come this way. These guys are heroes. They are just, meters away from moving lava, and they are trying to build a berm. Holy macaroni. Fuego to 15,000 foot, Ibu to 8,000, Nevado de Ruiz, 20,000 foot blast there. The eruptive activity beginning at the Stora, Skolkfeld, and Sklingerfeld remains consistent with that observed earlier this morning, both seismic activity, etc., etc. Liwatobi to 10, Semaru to 14, Dukono to 9, Manam to 8, wrapping up worldwide volcano news for the day. Fantastic. Pray for all those in Grindavik, and pray for the Blue Lagoon. Space weather for November 22nd, 2024. We had an S2 radiation storm threshold reached just moments ago from multiple activities earlier today. First, we had a large prominence located off the east limb, which erupted beginning around 11:30 UTC. This hurled a bright coronal mass ejection into space that so far appears to be headed directly away from Earth. We'll show you that blast here. Boom. No chance of any geo-effective activity here from the first blast. The second blast, and the most significant we're looking at here, an even more energetic eruption, this time from beyond the west limb, the opposite side of the sun. The latest event was captured by GO-16 beginning at 17:55 UTC today and launched a fast-moving, you can see the plasma rope there, energetic coronal mass ejection into space, and a minor S1 radiation storm began and is now risen to S2 just moments ago. This is the live graph, but it looks like it's leveling out at S2 and will probably be dropping down soon, which is good news. Here's that huge blast off the back of the sun. If this came towards Earth, oh my goodness, we would have some spectacular auroras making their way all the way potentially to the equator. A quick look at telemetry shows all quiet on the Western Front. Plasma speed down at 400 kilometers per second. The BZ is acting normal and not shifting south. And the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet on the Western Front. A quick look at the latest HMI intensity on the disk shows nothing but a few sunspot pricks. Maybe this region is developing slightly, but insignificant indeed. Now, a bunch of sharticles coming out today. Climate change increased wind speeds for every 2024 Atlantic hurricane. Now, the only problem with this headline is that there is no evidence of anthropogenic climate change based on CO2. So Climate Central is complete garbage. This article is a waste of time and money, and there's no way you can, in such a short period of time, conclude that there is any accentuation of wind speeds because we farted. It's just nonsense and gobbledygook. Here's another one of the headlines. Climate change strengthened recent hurricanes. The only problem is none of them were stronger than other hurricanes that have happened over the last 100 years. Absolute garbage reporting. Archaeology news. 60,000-year-old glue-making oven found in Neanderthals' seaside cave. What in the world was going on 60,000 years ago before their extinction? Neanderthals are often assumed to be dim-witted. That has to do with the archaeological community and how dim-witted they actually are. But I do digress. Neanderthals made fantastic jewelry as well as Denisovans, and in fact, were manufacturing glue in a cave 60,000 years ago. Holy macaroni. All the links will be below. Scientists just discovered hallucinogens in a 2,200-year-old Egyptian basmug. And look at the picture of this statue that they put on the cover. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? A study recently published in the Journal of Scientific Reports presents an analysis of a 2,000-year-old Egyptian vase decorated with the head of Bes, as you see here. an ancient Egyptian god associated with protection and fertility. The vase held at the Tampa Museum of Art was analyzed by an international group of archaeologists from the United States and Italy, including researchers from the University of South Florida and the University of Trieste and the University of Milan, and their findings were spectacular. Among the organic residues detected were traces of the plant Paganum harmala, commonly known as harmel or Syrian rue, which is known for its psychoactive properties. The seeds of Paganum harmala produce high quantities of alkaloids harmine and harmaline that can induce dream-like visions. The analysis also detected traces of another psychoactive plant, the blue water lily, Nymphaea cerulea, which contains aperphine, an alkaloid associated with mild sedative and euphoric effects. Researchers concluded that both the Paganum harmala and the Nymphaea cerulea were deliberately used as sources of psychoactive substances for ritual purposes. It gets even deeper. In addition to these psychoactive plants, the researchers found evidence of other ingredients. Traces of wild rue, Egyptian lotus, cleome were also detected in the vase, along with sesame seeds, pine nuts, licorice, grapes, honey, and fermented fruit liquids. These ingredients may have been used to flavor the liquid concoction and may have made the liquid in the mug look like blood. Holy macaroni. Now check this out. Apparently they just got the memo over at Snopes. Here is the fact check. Earth's magnetic pole is moving towards Russia, more specifically Siberia. The fact is it would be more unusual if the magnetic pole weren't moving at all. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because in the last 1,000 years, the magnetic pole stood above Canada for most of the time, and only a few hundred years ago did it begin moving. But it is true, the Earth's magnetic pole is moving towards Russia. In mid-November 2024, several news outlets, wait a minute, we were claiming this years before that, but I do digress, published articles claiming the magnetic North Pole was moving towards Russia. In fact, it left its current position where it stayed for quite some time back in 1907 and has been racing towards Russia for the last 115 years. I don't know where they come up with these so-called journalists or fact checkers, however you want to look at it. Several Snopes readers wrote to Snopes to ask whether the reporting was true and what, if anything, the finding means. Well, it'll probably take Snopes decades, if not millennia, to figure out what it means, because it took them years to figure out it was even true. But the claims that the magnetic pole is moving towards Siberia are real, and it's been moving towards Siberia for 100 years. In fact, it accelerated about 20 years ago, and 10 years ago, it got even faster. But the good news, in the last few years, it's slowing down, but still rapidly moving towards Russia. Now, a lot of people have hit the interwebs, the tweeters, the Instagrams with pictures like this of clouds depicting ripples and rollers and vortices. And they're claiming that this has everything to do with geoengineering and HAARP. The only problem is that these patterns in the sky have been going on Earth for billions of years, because they have nothing to do with HAARP. They have nothing to do with geoengineering, and they have everything to do with fluid hydrodynamics and the Earth system. Why do I know this? Because I'm a geologist that taught graduate school at university level. I studied this for about a decade. I'm a sedimentologist, a paleontologist, and a stratigrapher. And the very first paper I read was Rollers and Ripples in Sand, Streams, and Sky. Rhythmic alterations of transverse and longitudinal vortices in 3 orders. This paper was published in 1976, almost 50 years ago. And it explains everything that every idiot on the internet thinks is HAARP. I wish that these people would stop staring into the square and go out into nature and actually look into some streams or some lakes. Look up in the sky. Do some observational science. Not everything is a conspiracy, but most people are dumb. That's a fact, Jack. Now, if you haven't heard, World War III has begun. Russia launched an experimental weapon which delivers a payload from space at 30,000 miles per hour, and when it hits the surface is moving at Mach 10. That is 7,700 miles per hour. There is not a single defensive weapon that can deter this, and anything on the surface that gets hit by this weapon is liquefied in an instant. Take a look at this is from the surface. So let me set this up for you guys before you see this. Okay? So this is the weapon entering from space and creating a sonic boom as it rips through the atmosphere, maybe the ionosphere. I don't know where it's actually ripping through here. Probably the boundary between the ionosphere and the atmosphere. This is going to be tens, if not hundreds of miles away here from this view. And then this view is the direct view of what happened underneath of that area. So take a look at this. These are the objects moving at Mach 10 that hit the ground. Whatever these objects may be. Look at how, this is real time. This is not sped up, folks, which makes this weapon, and there's not a lot of explosion associated with it. Keep your eye right here where you can see what happens when this weapon hits the ground. Everything is immediately incinerated and liquefied. It's so fast and so hot and so deadly, nothing has a chance to explode. It's just exterminated. So if you were to choose a way to die from war, this would be instant and you wouldn't feel a thing. But we certainly do not promote war in any way, and we want peace on Earth. But according to Politico, World War III has officially begun, according to Ukraine's ex-top general. The former commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army has a grim outlook on the state of war. Bad news for us. Good news for you. Get the long-term food storage you may need to survive and thrive in the coming times. You can support our channel and support your preparedness by getting to My Patriot Supply through our link right now. And no need to wait for Black Friday. There are dozens of things on sale, including, but not limited to, battery packs, food, water purification, long-term food storage. That's almost, a lot of this stuff is half off. Survival seed vaults now $74 for 3 of them. That's less than $25 per vault. That's 3 gifts right there on Christmas. Boom, done. Sprouting kits, indoor heaters, in case of a grid down scenario, backpacks and more on sale with the early Black Friday sale. Support your preparedness, support your friends and family, and support the channel. Go get it. And flat earthers all over the globe have nothing to fear but sphere itself. Here are 2 great examples that you can find in 5 seconds to prove the earth is curved. And if you haven't seen it, we have a great preparedness expose we put up interviewing Anita Bailey, the author of Cold Times, Prepping for the Mini Ice Age. As threats of World War III ramp up, why not listen to a podcast about preparedness? It's going to be linked right after this video in a pop-up screen coming right now, and that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are shadow banned, and we need your help to grow. And thanks to you, we hit 90,000 subscribers finally. Maybe we could hit the 100,000 threshold at some point, but it's anyone's guess. Be safe. We love you, and that is a boom.